All right, so blocking footwork, I'm going to talk in this way. Our first step in all of our footwork is for depth and direction, right? If we have inside zone this way, my first step, okay, is going to get my hips going to where I'm supposed to be, right? So our first step is always depth and direction. Our guys know that. Hey, what's your first step? Depth and direction. It's on the time of the run, right? Second step is the power step. That's where once we take our second step, we call it a power step because when it hits the ground, we want to punch at the same time, right? We do not want to have our step go early and then us be back on our heels and punching late. We want our second step to hit as we punch. It just becomes a more powerful position, right, when you punch and have your hands go at the same time. Contact, fit, and finish, that's what we want it to look like at the end, right? So we start, again, with the end in mind. Off the ball, it's the exact same. So here's what we always try to do, okay? We talk about our first step. One of the things I like to use is a PVC pipe. This is Mitch Wilcox, played in the Super Bowl last year, okay, with the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, so we try to get those guys to move forward with their steps, gain ground. We always work on a line, right down on the tee, right? So you can see that first step, right? We just do it on air. We want them to feel, okay, to gain depth. You can see that first step. That's why we go on the white line, gets past the white. He's gained depth and direction on his run, right? And we always have our hands ready, but this is just a footwork drill. So now we did the right hand, okay? Now we put our left hand down and go right? It's a little bit different because we're on the ball. We got to go inside, outside zone, got a lot to do. But that PVC pipe, if they hit it, it doesn't just strain them any, right? But it's something you can put a towel there, you can put anything there to make them know they've got to gain ground on that angle. Okay? Now, you can go on the angle or you can go vertical. A lot of teams like to go vertical if you run single back power, all right? So a lot of the times, or you're going to double team with an offensive tackle. That's where you would want to go vertical, right? The first couple ones were on some zone tracks, right? We're either going right or left. This one is more vertical, so you really got to gain ground, but that first step is critical. First step, gain ground, okay, gain direction, and then keep our base on contact, right? And then you can do all this with boards. I know guys use boards quite a bit, so right here we're just kind of putting it together. I like to do it on air, right? So all they have to think about is their steps. They don't have to worry about hitting a pad. They don't have to worry about the second step. I just want them to feel on air what it's like to use our first step, okay? Like I said, we're going to begin with the end in mind. That's just to get them warmed up, right? So right here, everything that we do in the run game is to get to this contact fit position, okay? Contact fit position, when I say that, when we make contact, how are we fit up? We want to be in a really good base, shoulder width apart, knees bent, lower than the other guy that we're blocking, hands underneath, okay? So that we can do like that first drill, that hip explosion, bring our hips through and finish somebody. Also, can use our base to our advantage, going right, left, taking guys where they want to go, be able to be under control. So we're going to start all of our blocking in this position to make them feel everything we do needs to go to this position, right? We need to end up in this position. We don't want to end up on the block like this. We want to end up just like these two, just like Fred and just like Mitch right here, to make them feel when we do drive and we're in a perfect position. This is a perfect football position to block and do a good job on our defender, okay? So we're going to start with that. What does it feel like to be in the perfect position to work on somebody? Another way of doing it, if you don't have partners or whatever, or if you do have a single-man sled, really good drill to work, to stomp it out, right? You're going to stomp your feet, be slow so they feel their base, and then re-accelerate their feet to finish, right? So what this single-man sled does, it moves, right? Their partner doesn't move as much. You're just fitting up, going straight. Well, if you use a single man, if you're not under control, it's going to control you, right? So really good drill. You can see we stomp slow, and then I'll tell them to pick up their feet in the end to finish, right? So that first one's just to stomp out, right? So they're in a really good position. They're going to stomp, and then I tell them to finish. Finish means re-accelerate their feet, right? Because it's not a reality where we just get to stomp guys into the second level. You'll see they'll re-accelerate their feet right here, stomp, 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 and re-accelerate and bring their hips through, right? That's always what we're trying to get. And there's me unathletically doing it right there. All right? So that's the contact fit position. So we worked our first step for depth and direction. We worked our contact fit, right? Then we're going to go to that second step. That second step is the power step. Like I said, it's a power step because our first step has got great depth and direction, right? So right here, just so you know, second step, we can handcuff and bands them too to help with those guys with their hands. You can see these guys have tight hands. All right, so what we do on this drill is simply to isolate the second step, to make sure our guys know when their second step hits the ground, they better be punching. So we've given them their first step. You can see they're off the board, they're out of their stance, they've got a great depth and direction on their first step. Okay, so all it does is tell those guys, hey, now you've got your second step, I want you to punch when your second step gets in the ground. It should hit at the exact same time, right? So like right here, you can see, my guy is really good, boom. Punch, and his step is in the ground. And what are we in? We're in contact fit position. We went from on a stance, first step, second step, contact fit. Now you watch Fred right here, okay? His second step gets in there first. It's not bad timing. There's another example here in a minute where it gets a little long, okay? But you do not want to see guys punch with their second step. You don't want to punch early, right? Because now I'm in this position. Am I in contact fit? No. I want it to look like this. So how do I get to that? I punch at the same time. Now, likewise, if I step too far and then punch later, now I've given up what? My gap. I'm back on my heels. Lots of things can be an issue, okay? So we isolate that to make sure they know, right? Second step, just isolating the second step. Then we progress down. This is our board progression, right? So we've done the first step on air. We've felt what a contact fit position is. We did our second step timing, and now we're going to start to put it together, right? We do part, whole, so that we can have our guys understand which each part is important for the entire block. So now we do two-step timing, okay? Not second step timing. That's where we isolate the second step, right? Here, we're going to go two steps. So our first step is depth and direction, and then we're going to make them bring their second step. So now they have to put it together, right? They have to go first step, second step, and then they have to figure out, all right, my depth and direction is good, then my second step still has to have really good timing. So right here, you watching Mitch. All right, you see it, and we're just going to go step, step, ba-boom, right there. And you want to see that step, right, those hands, and that second step getting the ground all the same on the angle. Okay, pretty good by those two. So we just isolate that, and then we get to go through where I'll let them go. So that's 3 times in a row where it's really easy on their legs, and they can feel a first step, second step, right? So now we go to the two-step timing, and then we finish. Okay, so again, this is another part. Okay, so all we're going to do, we're doing it vertically here, okay, with Caleb right here and Harrison, right? So they take their first step. They load their hands. That second step punch, right? So they pause now, right? So again, I want to know, are our guys using our first step and second step to get into contact fit position, all right? And as you see it here, so we go step, step, right? We're in contact fit position. When I feel like they're good, I say finish. So now they can get into the drive, which is the contact fit drill, right? And then re-accelerate their feet to finish, bringing their hips through, which is the first drill we did with hip explosions, right? So all of this works together in a single way. So step, step, first step, depth and direction, second step, punch at the same time. Now I'm in contact fit position. Caleb's in a really good spot right there. And then we fit and finish.